Hello everyone, welcome to another session of Tenopy live sharing. If you're here for the first time, raise your hands. And if you're here for the many times, also let me know in the chat. All right, I see some familiar names right here. So welcome back to another Tenopy live sharing session. I'm teacher Celesta. Very nice to have all of you with us today. We are going to go through something really specific. We're now on a paper 2 Tenopy live sharing series. So we're going to focus a lot on paper 2 skills, starting off with reading comprehension. All right, if you guys know what reading comprehension is, raise your hands. Or if you don't know what it is, let me know in the chat. All right, so again, those names that I see in the participant list, you guys are probably already Tenopy students, right? So you guys know what to do here. But just in case, we're just going to go through a little bit of rules so that you can have maximum participation in class, all right? So now feel free to input any comments or questions in the chat box like I am saying right here. All right, see, I'm saying hi to you in the chat box. So please use this chat box to ask or answer any questions right here. Okay, please do not hesitate. Make the best use of this time that we have together so that you can clarify your answers, your questions or your answers, depending on whatever it is that you're not clear with. I seem to be having a little bit of a technical issue, but no problem. Okay, give me a moment. Okay, here we go. I lost my cursor. Hello to everyone who just came in. Welcome to Tenopy live sharing. We're just going through the online etiquette for class, okay? So I'm just saying hi to everyone again in the chat so that you know what to do. You can ask or answer any of my questions in this chat box, and I do advise you to participate as much as possible so that you can get the best learning experience out of this, all right? So we're going to be together for about 15 minutes right now talking about comprehension skills, and let's go. Now, oh yes, I forgot. If you need to ask anything, if you want to get my attention, besides using the chat box, you can also raise your hands, okay? If you have any trouble with audio, with video, all you have to do is to just exit the session and then come back in again, okay? So everything should be fine. All right, without further ado, let's begin. We are on a new series of Tenopy live sharing right now. In this series, we're going to cover comprehension cloze, and we're going to cover open-ended questions in comprehension. All right, this is going to be 6 sessions, and we're going to do 3 sessions of cloze passages and 3 sessions of comprehension. Like I mentioned, we are starting with open-ended comprehension questions. So we're going to begin today with what is an inference question, and then we're going to talk about how we can plan our answers for comprehension questions, and finally, how do we paraphrase our answers to make sure that it's very clear and anyone who reads it will understand. Hi, Lucas. Thanks for saying hi in the chat. Oh, I forgot to say hi to Xingtian as well, who said hi in the chat. All right, and then we're going into 3 sessions of cloze passage to talk about contextual clues, and then how do we determine what clues are important. And finally, how do we arrive at our accurate answers? Okay, so in these 6 sessions of Tenopy live sharing, we are going to cover all of these skills. So make sure that you join us, all of it, for all these sessions so that you can get the most out of it. Today, we're at lesson 1, talking about invisible words in the comprehension passage. Now, what exactly are invisible words? It's, as the name suggests, words that are not mentioned, information not given to us in the comprehension passage that are required. That's why we are required to make inferences. Okay, so we're going to learn what these invisible words are exactly and how we can see them. Okay, by the end of this session, you will be able to assess which words are necessary as evidence and therefore make inferences. Okay, so we're just going to learn how to find keywords first, which is the very first important step in answering any kind of open-ended question. Now, first of all, we first have to understand what is an inference. Okay, so an inference is a guess, all right? Most inferences are guesses, but not just any kind of guesses, they're educated guesses, okay? Yes, of course, Lucas, you can take notes. And then a guess that is made from reasoning, from the clues that we get in information, in text, in pictures, it depends, okay? We are making an inference. Later, we're going to do a little bit of an inference exercise to see, so you can see what I mean. Now, this information allows us to figure out what is it that is missing? Okay, because some things are not told to us directly. We don't know things that what's happening, but from these clues that we pick up from the passage, we can actually infer what is happening. Okay, and that's why inferencing is very important and something that we cannot overlook when we want to do well in exams. All right, moving on. First, we are going to use this very simple exercise to just understand what inference is. So let's look at this one. Take a look at this picture right here. We see a boy in a cast and with crutches. So imagine imagine your classmate Jake comes into class on Monday. I'm going to highlight some important things here. Okay, comes into class on Monday with crutches and an ankle cast. Okay, so crutches are these walking stick thingies here. Okay, these are crutches and an ankle cast, which is this thing right here. Okay, he was fine when you saw him last Friday. You are aware that Jake attends football practice every Saturday. Without asking him, can you make an inference on what happened? So you don't ask him anything. You don't go up to him and say, hey, Jake, what's wrong with you? What happened to you? You don't ask him any questions here. We are going to make an inference of what happened to him. And so everybody, this is where I need your participation. All right, now tell me, first, what are our clues? Remember, we're not asking him what's happened, okay? So we're going to have to find our own clues just by looking at Jake. All right, yes, very good, Lucas. So his leg was injured. And how do we know his leg was injured? Jake had an ankle cast, had an ankle cast. All right. Anything else? Hi, Akil. Oh, is that too big? All right, this is perfect. All right. Okay, Akil says he has soccer practice every Saturday. Fine. He has soccer practice every Saturday. This is an important piece of information. What else do we have? Everyone else? Anyone can participate, okay? Whatever clue that you think is important, I'm going to just go back to this a little bit for those of you who forgot the scenario. All right. Bethany, very good answer. He was using crutches. He was using crutches. Crutches. Okay, so now this clue number 1 had an ankle cast using crutches. So from this, we know that he is injured. All right, so what else do we have? Do we have any other clues from here? Yes, no? Okay, now broken leg. Yeah, Holmes, yeah, you're right. Yeah, broken leg, but specifically his leg is not broken. It was his ankle that was injured. Okay, so very important. If your entire leg is broken, he probably wouldn't even be on crutches. He would probably be on a wheelchair already. Sprained ankle, says Barrick and Isaac. Very good. Yeah, something is wrong with his ankle. That's something we know for sure. Okay, so now once we have sufficient clues, we can go on to make logical connections right here. So now a person needs an ankle cast when does a person need a cast like that? Something to hold your ankle in place. When do you need something like that? If they are, what's the magic word we're looking for right here? If they are, or if he is injured. Very good, if he is injured. So we know that he is injured for sure. And let's talk about football. Football is a blank sport. It's a sport, right? But it's not just any kind of sport. It's a kind of sport where you get injured easily. What do you call that kind of sport? Isaac says vigorous. Very good. Okay, I'm going to put vigorous down here first. Vigorous. Rough, says Lucas. Rough, says Akil. Any other words? Any other adjectives that we can use to describe football as a sport? Painful sport, says Hongjie. Dangerous sport, says Charleston. Painful, dangerous. All right. Now, one word to summarize this is called football is a contact-heavy sport. All right. So this goes with other kinds of sports like rugby, or even taekwondo, karate, any kind of martial arts. These are called contact-heavy sports. Okay. Amber says strenuous. Yep, they are indeed strenuous. Okay, so when we say this is a contact-heavy sport, it means that there is a higher chance than other sports that you may get injured. So, light contact sports would be things like golf, bowling, that you would that where there would be a lower chance you would get injured, okay? So we can say that football is a contact heavy sport. So we know that Jake is injured, he plays football, which is a contact heavy sport. So now let's draw a conclusion, okay, on what exactly happened to Jake. Bethany has already drawn a conclusion. Well done. All right, how about the rest of you? So we know something happened to Jake. Can we try to guess what happened to him? Jake injured himself. Very good. Okay, very good. You guys want to be specific, fine. Jake sprained his ankle while playing. We're gonna use football. Okay, football over the weekend. Very good. Well done, guys. All right, so you see, just by looking at what's happening right here with the information that we already know and the information that we're seeing before us, we just made an inference. These are invisible words, okay? We don't have all this information directly told to us. Jake doesn't have a label on his forehead that says, I injured myself while playing football over the weekend. All right, so this is how we make an inference. We have to guess certain things, and we can even make inferences into how people are feeling just by looking at their facial expression, right? Have you ever seen anyone with a facial expression and then you guess how they're feeling? Maybe that they're really happy and their eyes are huge, and then or they're really sad and their eyes are droopy, or they're angry and their eyebrows are arched inwards. That's making an inference on facial expressions. All right. So now we are going to put the same practice into words right now. Okay. But don't worry, this is just a really short passage here called Joey Needs to Go. Does anybody want to come to the microphone to read this for me? Just raise your hand. Okay, Akil can read half of it. Is Akil the only one who wants to read? Xingtian wants to read too. Okay, then Hongjie wants to read too. Okay, the three of you are perfect. Now I'm going to split this into 3 parts so that you can, so that each of you can take one part here. Okay. Now Akil will read this one, and then followed by Xingtian, and finally Hongjie. Hongjie, I'm going to put your name in HG, okay, because I have no space right here. All right, now let's go. Akil, you can unmute yourself, okay? Hi, Akil. Remember to unmute yourself. Hi.
After what seemed like ages, it was down to one person standing between Joey and his turn at the cashier. Joey regretted miserably chugging down an entire bottle of water at lunch just before entering the supermarket. That miscalculation was now haunting him as he could not bear to give up his place in the queue.
All right, thank you, Akil. Very well read. Xingtian, your turn. Where is Xingtian? Hi, Xingtian.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Just a few more minutes, he told himself as he eyed the toilet signage in the distance. He heaved his trolley forward carefully but hastily. It was so full that some items were hanging over the edge like an
Avalanche.
avalanche waiting to happen.
Okay, very good, Xingtian. Thank you. Hongjie. Hi, Hongjie.
Hi.
Go ahead.
One by one, the cashier scanned the almost endless heap of grocery. Joey reached into his pocket to get his wallet ready, but found himself grabbing air. Then he packed all the other pockets of his pants desperately, but the familiar lump he was seeking was nowhere to be felt.
Very good, Hongjie. Thank you so much. All right, thank you, Akil, Xingtian, and Hongjie. That was really good reading. Now, so we understand we have one character in the story by the name of Joey. All right, so now we are going to go into questions. We are not going to answer the questions today because we're going to look at it over the next few weeks, okay? We're just going to focus on looking at keywords today. Now, question 1. Why did Joey regret chugging down an entire bottle of water at lunch as he arrived at the cashier? All right, so now I'm going to just demonstrate this a little bit. We're going to find our keywords, and why keywords are important is because it tells us how we should answer the question. Okay, the very first thing we should take note is the first word. Okay, we have a why question, which means that our answer should come in the form of a reason. Okay, so why is important. Now, everybody else in the chat, can you tell me what other words are important? What is it that we should highlight in the question first? Okay, we don't go to the passage yet before we find our keywords in the question. Anyone else? Aha, okay, Lucas and Faliha, thank you very much. Cynthia, very good. We forgot this word here, regret. Okay, so regret is a feeling. So we have to be able to interpret this feeling. So why did he regret? Regret what exactly? Doing this action right here. Okay, this action right here. So we have to understand what is going on. Chugging down an entire bottle of water at lunch. So chugging down means to drink water, a whole lot of water at one go. All right, to chug down a lot of water. So why did he do that, and why did he regret this action? Okay, so if once we understand the question, we go back to the passage. Okay, so now looking at the passage, can you tell me what is important right here? What is it that we have to look at? You can give me the beginning of the sentence. That you don't have to type out the whole sentence, all right? You can just give me the beginning. Tell me which sentence here is important. Which clues are important? Ah, Lucas, thank you very much. Lucas, you're saying that this is important. Joey regretted miserably chugging down the entire bottle of water at lunch just before entering the supermarket. Does this give us any clue as to how to answer the question? I mean, it says here that he regretted, yes, and it says that he regretted again, but this doesn't give us an answer yet. It has to be a little bit more specific. All right, so Akil and Barrick and Charleston giving me some answers. Line 6 says Akil. Line 5 says Barrick. All right, line 5 means here, just a few more minutes, he told himself. This one? Or did you mean this one? That miscalculation was now haunting him as he could not bear to give up his place in the queue. This one right here. Okay, so this sentence, haha, counted wrongly, is it? All right, so this sentence here is our very important clue. All right, so when we read a question, we have to be able to understand what goes on within the question and then find our keywords, okay? So we have another question right here that we are going to do as a little bit of a homework, okay? So like I said, we're not going to answer the question today. If you want to try, of course, I'm going to give you these two questions to think about. You are going to be, the first thing that we're going to do today is to just understand keywords. And then next week, we are going to learn how to plan our answers, and finally, how to structure our answers and present a final product such that it is clear and accurate, easy to understand, and it gives us a higher chance of earning our full 2 marks, because inference questions, open-ended questions, are usually worth 2 marks. So we like to say that they are really expensive. Okay, so we want to be able to answer these as much as possible. Okay, so with that, we have come to the end of the first 10p live sharing about comprehension. Don't worry, like I said, we're taking it step by step. Now, scan this QR code here to join a Telegram group where we post questions. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few seconds here to whip out your phones or your parents' phones to scan this one right here to join a group. Okay, I'm going to move on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you need this again, I'll come back to it. Now, remember, we have other 10p online programs. Okay, this is just a 15-minute, 20-minute program, but we have other longer classes for English, Math, and Science from 1 hour to 1.5 hours. We have homework in those classes with personalized feedback. You can even ask questions anytime online or after class. And if you need further help than that, we also have one-to-one online sessions where needed. All right, yeah, you've heard this before. Yeah, we're just making sure that you are aware. Okay, so we have a couple of holiday workshops coming up as well for English, Math, and Science. Bridging workshops are new. So if you're P5 students going into P6 and you need help, a little bit of help with PSLE a little bit earlier before you start primary 6, this is the workshop for you. And if you're primary 6 going into secondary 1, we also have a workshop to prepare you for that. Okay. Now, finally, if you want to enjoy free trial lessons before you decide whether or not to join our full lessons, you can scan this QR code right here to find out more. All right. Again, I'm going to give you a bit of time on this. If you have finished scanning the QR codes already, and if you don't, and you have no more questions, we have come to the end of class. Thank you very much for joining us today for this Tenopy live sharing session. If there are no further questions, you may leave, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Bye, Ting Tian. Bye, Hong Jie. Bye, Bethany. Bye, Barrick. Bye, Faliha. Bye, Lucas.